Hello, everyone, and welcome to What's New in Inventor 2025. My name is Juliana, and I work in marketing here at Microcat. And today's presenter is Jose, our applications specialist. At today's webinar, we'll explore exciting new tools and improvements that will enhance your design process with the latest release of Inventor 2025. As usual, throughout the webinar, you can ask a question on the left-hand corner. You can ask Jose to revisit a step or ask any questions. This is your time, and we want you to make the most of it. And in the upper left-hand corner, you will find links to our social media, website, and YouTube channel. We post all of our webinars there at the end, so you can share with colleagues or watch it on your own time. And without further ado, I'll pass it on to Jose. Hi, Jose.
Hi, Juliana. Hi, everybody. I'm so excited to be here presenting this new webinar. This one is a very special one. These are the types of webinars that I usually look forward to because there are very exciting tools that we can show right now. Many new features, many improvements we get here now with Inventor 2025. So let's dive into it. Before we get started, can you confirm, Juliana, if you can see it on the screen?
Yep.
Okay, thank you. So basically, there's been lots of improvements now in this new version of Inventor. But today we're going to focus just on 10. These are my top ones, the ones that I found are most useful and that drive a better experience in the design software. Of course, there are many, many more, but these are basically my top 10. So let's start with the first one on simplifying command enhancements. Basically, for this one, what we have is a new tool with the simplify option, for which basically we can replace our components with a cylinder. To remember that if you were used to using this tool, when we were going to simplify an assembly, we had the option of just replacing with a bounding box. That is a regular exterior rectangle. But now we have the option of selecting a minimum bounding cylinder. Okay. So this one is much more useful if we have parts that require this kind of shapes. For example, let's say that I want to open a file like this one, clutch bill. And I want to simplify this assembly. So it's much, much more useful to replace these ones as bounding cylinders instead of bounding boxes. All right. The rest of the functionality remains just like that. You can replace each component. You can replace the whole thing if you want to. Just that you have the option to use this new shape. This is very useful for sharing information, generating Revit models, those kind of things. And even if you want to derive a part, for example, let's say that want to start a new part here. I'm going to derive that same assembly, or actually, I'm going to derive this other one. I have the option to choose how I want to derive each one of these parts. For example, this one makes more sense if it's a bounding box, but maybe this one makes more sense as a cylinder. Maybe this one makes sense as a box, and so on. So basically, I can define how I want to export everything or how we want to derive everything in my new part. All right. So very, very useful. There's been other enhancements to the derive tool, but I think that's one of the most important ones. Right, let's move to the next one on bolted connection. Basically, for bolted connection, we have one of the advantages that came with the latest releases of Inventor 2024 which was basically defining a pattern or a bolded pattern. Okay, so now if you have, for example, a model like this, I have a hole here, I get a rectangular pattern for this assembly. I can make use of that pattern with the bolted connection command. So I'm gonna start my bolted connection command. I'm gonna start my plane around here. I'm gonna use this existing hole, and now I'm able to follow those patterns in the assembly level as well. So basically, anything that or any pattern that I want to use, either a rectangular pattern or a circular pattern, and if those can be followed along, right? I can insert fastener here to see that I have all the replicas or all the pattern components. I'm just gonna add a quick nut here. And there we go. Huge time saver, and creates that operation in one single go. All right. Let's take a look at our next one. Sheet metal enhancements. So basically, for all of you guys that are used on creating sheet metal parts and were a little annoyed that the sheet metal doesn't look like the rest of Inventor, now you please have the answer. If I'm gonna create a new sheet metal part here, I'm gonna add a couple dimensions there. Say 5 inches by 2.5. That's another along. And we're gonna take a look at our tools in the sheet metal environment. Now you see that they look like the regular Inventor, and it has been simplified a lot. It makes use of the same rules. Basically, follows what you need to know for sheet metal is basically the same, but now it's more slick. And now you have all the options better organized. So for the people who are learning how to use the sheet metal, it will be a lot more easy. It will be a lot more fun, a lot easier as well. So basically, a nicer look, more intuitive, more efficient as well. We will find. Oh, sorry. We'll find all of those commands for every command in of the same look for every command in the new environment, in the sheet metal environment, right? Close this one. Now for hole enhancements, we got a few new options there, basically for defining the tip of the holes that I want to create for my parts. Let's say that I'm going to start a new tool here. I'm going to start a quick assembly. I'm going to start a couple parts there. XY plane. Five by 3. I'm going to start quick extrude command. 0.5 inches, and we're gonna take a look at our hole tool. Now, when I'm gonna insert a hole here with my hole tool, I got new options as well. Modify my isometric profile. Determine certain length here. Probably should make this one a little thicker. Modify this as 2 inches. There we go. And let's start our hole tool. There we go. And I'm gonna specify termination for my hole. So you see that now I got new options there. I got not just the flat version and the point version, but I also have W, Y, and V options. Okay. So basically, for conveying the information on the node, I have that option as well. Let's say that I'm gonna create an ISO hole, an M6 should be good. Let's place it around here just because I don't like having stuff floating around. And let's say I'm gonna create a drawing for this new part. I'm gonna go here, store new drawing, specify a base. There we go. And I'm gonna pull in my hole and thread information. All right. So basically now I have those options there for using under my hole nodes as well. The tip information is going to be brought as well into my node, right? So that's very useful if you use to convey that type of information in your hole, right? Now moving on to feeder pattern enhancements. This, I think it's my favorite one. They have included the option to create a bounding around the patterns that we want to create. Okay, so let's say that I want to create a pattern for this one, but I need to place holes that are inside a bounding spline. So I'm going to create a little spline there. Let's say that I'm going to create this spline like this, and that. And there we go. We have closed spline there. I'm going to hit finish. And I'm going to start my rectangular pattern. So I'm going to parent this hole right here. A couple directions, there and there. I'm going to fill those one up, 0.5, let's say 0.5, switch dimension, and let's say I want to place, I don't know, 10. Same for this one. Whoops, sorry. 5, all right. So we get all those patterns, but now I have this new boundary option. So basically, this one is for controlling what I want to include in my actual pattern, okay? So basically, everything that's enclosed inside of this boundary, it's only going to be included, okay? Everything that's outside of it, I'm going to leave out, okay? And I have several options to include that geometry. For example, I can all the holes that are completely enclosed in that boundary. So basically those ones, this, all of that would be out, right? Or I can include everything that has a centroid inside of the boundary. So basically these ones should be included as well. And if none of that is good for you, you can change the base point. All right. Well, in this case, it's a circle, so it would be probably I don't have. I would need one of these centroid options, but you can change that base point as well. You can also specify a boundary offset if you want to. For example, 0.15 in case you want to modify that boundary as well. Right? So that's also one of the requests from the community from a long time, and now it's included in Inventor 2025. Right? Now moving into our drawing annotations, there are several new features there, but I think one of my favorites is the revision clouds. Revision clouds were added to Inventor 2024, but now we have more control over them. One of the main issues we had with our revision clouds was that basically when we were creating one of those, we didn't have any control on the size of the arcs, right? But now we have the option of selecting the revision cloud and editing. So from the edit option, we can change the minimum size of those arcs, let's say 0.05, and the maximum, let's say 0.1. And there we go. We have nicer looking revision cloud as well. The editing of the revision cloud remains the same. That is, we can delete the vertex if we want to. If we want to modify the sketch for the revision cloud, we can do that as well. I'm going to define this here and there. We go. Have a nicer looking revision cloud. There we go. But now, depending on the size of our cloud, we have the option to resize it so we get nicer looks in our drawings as well. Okay. Now we also have enhancements in geometry text. That is the text we add to our sketches in our model. So I'm going to modify this model a little bit. Suppose that I'm going to include something like this. No. I'm going to make a cut there so it's actually a curve that I should follow, right? Let's say I'll create this one. I'm going to project that one. So we can basically remove this portion, right? Through all. But maybe I want to use that curve to make an annotation, for example. So I'm going to edit my sketch and I'm going to use my geometry text. Actually, let me do this from different sketch. Share. Extrusion 1E. There we go. Project geometry. What's going on here? Kind of weird. Not letting me follow the text. Huh. All right, maybe I can move along with that one. It's kind of weird why that's happening. Let me just create a new fillet here. Video sketch, project geometry. There we go, geometry text. All right, I think the reason is because I'm trying to follow a spline. It's probably not a good idea there. I'm gonna modify this one again, real quick. Sketch, create an arc. There we go. And just so we can follow along a little better. There we go. Okay. Forgot that you're not supposed to follow spline there with geometry text, okay? So I'm gonna add some text here following this edge. And let's say that I wanna convey that edge modified by the designer, okay? So start with this, with Inventor 2025, we have the option to include standard eye properties in the geometry text. Okay, so suppose that I want to include the author of this part right here. I'm going to include it there. Going to hit OK. And there we go. We have edge modified by shaded regions or positive regions. And it's going to be part. That's going to be part of my model. It's going to read into the eye properties as well. So if this should change, well, that's going to be changed there as well. Okay. So it's very useful if you're intending on using this type of tools, if you're going to use these annotations for embosses, for conveying information in your geometry as well. Basically anything you need for the sketch environment and using the geometry text as well. We have some graphics improvements as well. Starting with 2025, we have the option of highlighting hidden edges in our assemblies. Okay, so I'm gonna close this one. Oh, actually, I'm not gonna close anything. I'm just gonna open a nice model here, an engine, radio engine, final. There we go. Right, so basically on previous releases, the way Inventor works is that when you highlight a part, for example, you're not able to see the hidden edges of the part. Okay, but now with Inventor 2025, we have the options of changing our application options and highlighting hidden faces. All right, so under the colors tab, we will find this new option, uh, which by the way needs enhanced highlighting in order to work, right? So I need to enable enhanced highlighting and highlight hidden faces. So now when I'm gonna select a part, I will see the hidden faces of that part. Okay, that's gonna be very, very helpful for complex assemblies, just for visualization of the parts. Before we weren't able to see anything of this sorts, and that's going to give us a lot more information on our parts. All right. We also have some graphic improvements in assemblies. Basically, I think this was one of the cool features from Fusion that was brought into Inventor, and display components in separate colors. So if we have a component like this with a certain material, chances are that we might want to differentiate each one of those components. So now under our View tab, we'll find the Display Separate Colors option. So that way, Inventor is going to paint each one of those parts in a separate color. It will be a lot easier to see each one of those parts as well. And we even have several ways in which we can color each one of those parts. For example, so each unique top-level assembly, for example, each part separately. So each one of these plates is going to be a different color, for example. So very, very useful for managing assemblies with many, many components that need to be managed at the same time. All right. If I want to deactivate the option, I just click on that one, and that's it. So there's no need to change the appearance of the part or override the appearance of the parts as well. It's a very, very nice tool. I'm sure I'm going to make use of it a lot, and hope everybody out there will too as well. And the last one, also one of my favorites, it's the promote dimensions option. So basically, for all the people out there that are used creating 3D annotations that maybe don't need to send drawings and they just use the model environment to send some annotations, that one is for you. That promote dimensions one, right? So let's say I have this part right here. I have um, several features for the part, and each one of those features have some dimensions. Okay, and chances are that those dimensions that I created might be useful for my part as well. So instead of going through the hassle of creating each one of those dimensions again, now I can promote the dimensions to bring them up into the 3D annotate environment. Okay, so I'm gonna start my promote dimensions tool, and I'm gonna hit my sketch, my extrusion. So basically, I need to define the geometry I wanna bring the dimensions from. It can be more than one. For example, I'm gonna select extrusion 1 as well. Probably not extrusion 1, extrusion 3. Probably need to check how this one was done because don't think that this one has an actual size. Oh, it does. Okay. There we go. All right, so I'm gonna bring in this information and the size for my extrusion. There we go. Gonna start. I'm gonna bring in everything that I need, and now I'm gonna select the dimensions I want to promote. So basically, this height right here. Let's say the diameter for the circle right here, and the location. Okay, and this one. I'm gonna hit OK, and boom, there we go. Now we have all those dimensions that were used in my sketch environment into my 3D. All right, and these dimensions are going to work like regular 3D annotations as well. I can move them. I can't change the annotation plane if I want to. Say that I want to bring this one back here. For example, I want to toggle the alignment for this one. Basically, everything that you could do with regular 3D annotations, you can do with this promoted ones. So it's a very, very useful tool if your design intent is good from the start and you have a lot of dimensions there in your sketches, in your features, in your extrusions, whatever it is that you want to bring in that might be useful for creating annotations. All right. So don't forget, there are many, many, many more features in Inventor 2025. I think this were the most important ones, but I don't know, maybe someone out there might disagree with me, but you know how this goes. Usually, some tools are more useful for our people, but I think these are very, very, very nice upgrades they've done into Inventor 2025. And with that, I think we're done. If anyone has any questions with any of these features, please let me know as well.
Thank you, Jose. Let me check what questions we have. Okay, the first question is geometry text option available for assemblies as well?
No. By default, the geometry text option is available for parts only. If you try to bring that into an assembly, for example, that option won't be available. That is, if you try to create a sketch here and gonna project geometry there using my geometry text, that option won't be available there because it's gonna use parameters from our iProperties from the assembly, and that those ones aren't available yet. So we're talking about parts for now. Okay.
Thank you. I'm just reading here the next question. Is the boundary option for the feature pattern available on sketches?
On sketches, yes. That is, if we're gonna create a sketch, not using the 3D model options. Let's say I'm gonna create a sketch in my part. Let's say I want to create something down here. And I'm going to start with a regular slot here, for example. And I'm going to make a rectangular pattern for this one. I do have the option of using boundaries as well here. All right. So let's create one. Yeah. Another spline there, just so it's nicer to look at, right? Start my command. I do have my directions there, 5, and I'm going to apply my boundary. Okay, so that same option also is available on my patterns in my sketch. Okay, we can also select by centroid. We can also select by specifying a base point in our model as well. And basically works exactly in the same way.
Thank you. Do you have anything else, or did we cover everything? So I can go ahead and show our upcoming webinars.
All right.
All right. Okay, so we have tomorrow, June 27, What's New in Revit 2025. And then on July 10, we'll have the Autodesk New Buying Experience webinar explaining everything you need to know. And then we'll have on July 11, What's New in Civil 3D 2025. And on July 18, we'll have Maximizing Efficiency 10 Tips for Revit Map Workflows, MEP, I'm sorry. So yeah, if we don't have further questions, then I would like to thank Jose and thank everyone. And yeah, hope you'll have a great day ahead.
Okay, thank you, Helena, and thank you everyone for your assistance. I hope to see you soon with another webinar.
Okay, goodbye, everyone.
Goodbye, everyone.